Let me start with something that almost no one talks about. There was a child who never really got to be a child. While other kids were running freely in the playground, laughing without worry, this child was already learning to carry things that were never meant for their small hands. They learned to listen for the sound of a parent's sigh, to step in when the room felt heavy with tension, to become the one who fixed, who helped, who held everything together. They became the over-responsible child. And if you've ever felt like you grew up carrying more than you should have, if you've ever found yourself taking care of everyone else while quietly forgetting to take care of yourself, then this story is for you. You see, the over-responsible child isn't born that way. No child arrives in the world automatically taking on adult roles. But when life forces a child to become the parent too early, something profound shifts inside them. They learn that love and safety come with conditions. They learn that peace depends on them managing emotions, solving problems, and keeping everything stable. And so, they grow up believing that their worth is tied to how useful they are, how reliable they are, how much they can carry without breaking. This is the psychology of the over-responsible child. Not just a childhood role, but a survival strategy that follows them into adulthood, shaping their relationships, their work, their sense of self. And the strange part is, many of them don't even realize it until they feel exhausted, burnt out, or quietly resentful without knowing why. Let's go deeper. What happens when a child is forced to grow up too fast? When they have to comfort a parent instead of being comforted? When they have to manage the household instead of playing? When they have to be the strong one instead of being allowed to be small? Their nervous system learns early that safety is not given, it is earned through responsibility. They become hyper-aware of everyone's needs, everyone's moods, everyone's pain. They become the emotional anchor in a family that is drifting. And while the world praises them for being so mature, so helpful, so strong, inside there is a quiet ache. The ache of a child who never got to be a child. Psychologists call this parentification. When a child takes on emotional or practical responsibilities that belong to adults, it is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is subtle. A child who learns to make dinner because the parent is too overwhelmed. A child who comforts their sibling because the parent is absent. A child who stays quiet because any noise might disturb the fragile peace. Over time, this child internalizes a powerful belief. If I don't hold it together, everything will fall apart. And this belief doesn't disappear when they grow up. It follows them. The over-responsible child becomes the over-responsible adult. The one who always says yes. The one who takes on extra work. The one who carries the emotional load in relationships. The one who feels guilty for resting. They confuse responsibility with worth. They confuse self-sacrifice with love. They confuse exhaustion with strength. But here's the part most people never realize. Being over-responsible is not a sign of strength. It is a sign of early trauma. It is a survival adaptation. The child learned that love and safety were conditional on being useful, on being reliable, on being the one who never needed anything. So they stopped needing, they stopped asking, they stopped being small. They became the adult in a child's body. And the cost of this adaptation is profound. The over-responsible child grows up with a deep fear of letting go. Rest feels unsafe. Boundaries feel selfish. Saying no feels like abandonment. They become experts at reading others' needs while completely disconnecting from their own. They can sense when someone is upset before the person even speaks, but they struggle to name their own emotions. They give endlessly, but they feel guilty when they receive. This creates a quiet, invisible exhaustion. Not the kind that comes from physical work, but the existential kind. The exhaustion of always being the one who holds everything together. The exhaustion of never having been allowed to fall apart. But here's the hidden gift inside this pain. The over-responsible child develops incredible strengths. They become empathetic, reliable, insightful. They know how to hold space for others because they had to hold space for their family. They know how to manage chaos because chaos was their normal. These are beautiful qualities. But the problem is that these strengths were forged under pressure, and they come with a heavy price. The loss of their own childhood, the loss of their own needs, the loss of their own voice. So, what happens when this child becomes an adult? They often find themselves in relationships where they are the caretaker. They attract people who need fixing because fixing feels familiar. They struggle with rest because rest feels like failure. They feel guilty for having boundaries because boundaries feel like rejection. And slowly, the very thing that helped them survive childhood becomes the thing that limits their freedom in adulthood. But there is hope. Healing for the over-responsible child begins with awareness. The first step is recognizing that your over-responsibility is not a personality trait. It is a survival strategy. It is the child's way of trying to create safety in an unsafe environment. When you see it this way, you stop judging yourself for it. You stop calling yourself too much or too little. You begin to understand that you were never meant to carry all of that weight. The next step is grief. Grief for the childhood you never got to have. Grief for the small child who had to grow up too fast. Grief for the moments when you had to be the adult when you were still small. This grief is not weakness. It is honesty. It is the beginning of integration. It is you finally giving yourself permission to feel what you were never allowed to feel. And then comes the gentle reparenting. You begin to give yourself what you never received. You begin to say no without guilt. You begin to rest without shame. You begin to ask for help without feeling lesser. You begin to let yourself be small sometimes, to let yourself need, to let yourself be held. This is not selfish. This is healing. This is you becoming the parent you always needed. The over-responsible child grows up believing that love must be earned through usefulness. Healing is learning that love can be freely given and freely received. Healing is learning that you don't have to hold everything together to be worthy. Healing is learning that your worth is not in what you do for others, but in who you are. And maybe one day, without even noticing exactly when it happened, you will find yourself resting without guilt. You will find yourself saying no without apology. You will find yourself asking for help without shame. And in that moment, you will realize that the child inside you is finally safe. The child who had to grow up too fast is finally allowed to be small again. This is not the end of responsibility. It is the beginning of balance. You can still be reliable, still be kind, still be strong, but now it comes from choice, not from fear. Now it comes from a place of wholeness, not from a place of survival. The psychology of the over-responsible child is the story of a child who learned to carry the world on their small shoulders. But it is also the story of an adult who can finally set that world down and say, I don't have to hold everything. I am allowed to be held too. And that, perhaps, is the most beautiful ending of all.